Welcome to the kingdom of Koopa Keep.
South Park: The Stick of Truth never tries to excuse itself. Sometimes game development seems like a rocket ship, blasting off into the unknown. It starts to feel like the only reason games end up with interesting narratives is because a writer held onto the core of their plot for dear life. It's easy to imagine how hard it must be for a game writer to watch major themes and plot beats get ripped off into the abyss of cuts that hammer away at a project. And it's even easier to be cynical about the whole process. Especially when you look at how major narrative franchises have taken such a nosedive when their budget started to balloon out of control. All too often, it feels like games are forced to choose between telling stories and being games. The South Park game is inspiring, because after its lengthy and turbulent development, it managed to come out so uncompromisingly South Park. It's written to support the medium. It never asks its audience to ignore poor pacing or subpar writing because of the obvious challenges of adapting a television show into a video game. It isn't padded, it doesn't reuse environments, it's every bit as detailed and content-rich as an episode of Comedy Central's acclaimed late-night cartoon. It just so happens to come in the form of a great game. In the vein of other South Park episodes like Good Times with Weapons or The Return of the Fellowship of the Ring to the Two Towers, Stick of Truth is about the boys playing pretend and fighting to save the world. It's a role-playing game because what else could it be? It's a game about bored 10-year-olds wandering around a mountain town. Aside from explaining why the kids can use magic in battle, those RPG tropes are used to reinforce everything going on in the narrative. Watching the world shift to fit the kids' interpretations of their fantasy adventure is the game's biggest reward. One that's made even more exciting by how legitimately satisfying it is to explore the town of South Park. It manages to find humor in everything, from its collectibles to its music. The South Park writers haven't ever shied away from their fondness for video games. But Stick of Truth uses this opportunity for them to act inside of the form to satirize games in new ways. Just to reiterate, this is not a Matt Hazard-style satire. This is Matt Stone and Trey Parker having the time of their lives riffing on Skyrim because they love the Elder Scrolls. It is worth saying that having a rapport for South Park will go a long way here. It's just bursting at the seams with gags from the show. And exploring the town's every nook and cranny is great, if that's something you had a desire to do going into the game. There's nothing here for someone who expressly dislikes South Park. There are more jokes about things going into and coming out of asses than you can shake a stick at. But while it may be made for South Park fans, The Stick of Truth has as much love for games as original content in the medium. South Park: The Stick of Truth shocked me, not just because of how far the writers were able to push the ESRB, but because of how succinct the whole experience manages to be. It's a 10 or so hour long game that never drags. Moreover, it's a turn-based RPG whose battle system somehow doesn't overstay its welcome. It's laugh-out-loud funny and plain old fun. I haven't gone into any of the specifics of the scenarios because I really think this thing is an anomaly. I'm not sure that South Park fans will ever have something like this again, and I want them to have the same grin running across their face that I had.
Yes, awesome, dude! Take that, you asshole elves! Better luck next time! Na 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 na! We still control the universe! Ha 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 ha!